All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to Lazy Edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD, and I want to thank you all for taking the time out to listen to our program. And as always, we welcome any feedback, suggestions, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Dallas Cowboys 2019, Week 10, a 35-27 road win at the Detroit Lions. Our stats for the game: quarterback Dak Prescott, 29 of 46 passes, 444 yards, 3 touchdowns. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, 16 carries, 45 yards, and 1 touchdown, as well as adding a receiving touchdown in the fourth quarter. Wide receiver Michael Gallup, a career high, 9 catches, 148 yards, and some rather acrobatic catches. Wide receiver Randall Cobb, 4 catches, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. And backup running back Tony Pollard, 4 catches, 44 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the defensive side, linebacker Jalen Smith, 9 total tackles, 9 solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Darren Thompson, 7 total tackles, 7 solo tackles. Defensive end Robert Quinn, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. Defensive tackle Michael Bennett, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss. Defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, 5 total tackles, 5 solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. DB Jadobe Awuzie, 2 pass breakups. And to me, why is that significant? Because he was locked up on wide receiver Kenny Golladay, and he was really only held 1 catch for 34 yards, and this guy was lighting the scoreboard up during the season. So Dallas Cowboys moved to 6-4. They stay a game up in the NFC East over the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles actually just played a tough game with the Patriots that just ended. The Eagles are now 5-5, so Cowboys maintain the game's lead over the Eagles. You could even say a 2-game lead because they also hold the tiebreaker, previously beating the Eagles about 3 weeks ago. So definitely a much-needed win after last week's questionable play calling and the loss to the Minnesota Vikings. But of course, at Chin Check Radio, we talk about the good. Team piled up 509 total yards. Dak Prescott, the last 2 games, I think 818 total yards the last 2 games combined. The most in a 2-game period in team history. So something the light has went off in Dak Prescott. Also, the light has clicked on with Dak Prescott. That's causing him to go off on the field. I mean, he's been playing well. Teams have been stopping Ezekiel Elliott. So, of course, they're making plays with Dak Prescott's arm and his mobility. And I think what was very telling at the end of the game when the team is trying to run the clock out, you would think that's the time to pound Zeke and pound Zeke and pound Zeke. They ran Zeke, didn't get too many yards, ran a play fake, ran a bootleg. Then Dak Prescott caught Blake Jarwin, and that sealed the game. So that just goes to show maybe the team is starting to trust Dak more in those instances. Maybe they received too much criticism from last week, and rightfully so. And I was one of the ones here at Chin Check Radio who criticized the play calling to try to win the game versus this week they were trying to seal the game or seal the win. Definitely can't really a win is a win. I don't look at it as, because people now, all the Detroit Lions fans are coming up, well, we had our backup quarterback, and what if we were injured? But again, I go back to years when Cowboys have suffered injuries and the Cowboys have lost games. People don't care because they beat the Cowboys. Then when the Cowboys win a game, all of a sudden it's where our quarterback wasn't there, and there's a whole bunch of excuses. So I don't want to hear it. You lost a game, you were at home, tough. Now, of course, with the bad, the Dallas Cowboys, again, always come out slow to start these football games. And for the life of me, I don't understand why. I don't know if they're not pumped up coming onto the field, if they're not prepared, if they don't have the fire lit, if Jason Garrett hasn't given the hellfire and brimstone speech. I don't know what it is. But again, they came out slow to start the football game. Ezekiel Elliott had a first quarter fumble. Who would have thought that? So, and I know running backs fumble, but of course, when you get paid all the money that Zeke got paid, you hope he doesn't fumble, as well as you hope he gets more than 45, 46 yards. But again, teams seem to be stopping the run. What is encouraging is that Dak Prescott is taking on more of a leadership role with the offense. I'm not going to put too much stock into 2 games, but maybe the team is said on the broadcast when they added Michael Bennett, what did concern me was, as a terrific player as he is, he's very undisciplined. You'll get sacks, but you're also going to get costly offside penalties. I mentioned how he got a costly offside penalty in the Super Bowl versus the New England Patriots. And in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys forced the Lions to punt. Lions got into a punt fake mode. All it was a punt fake, and it was 4th and 4, and it drew Michael Bennett's offsides and gave the Detroit Lions a first down. Now, what was upsetting about that play, the Detroit Lions ran that exact play a week prior. So special teams coach showed it in the meeting room, told them what to prepare for. It was a crucial part of the game where the Lions were trying to battle back. They run the play fake. It almost looks like, a checkers drill. They run the play fake, they get set, and they drew Michael Bennett offsides. And I kept saying it. That's something that you're going to have to live with for as long as he's on the team. He's going to give you his sacks and tackle for losses, but you're going to live with those offside penalties at the worst time. And again, that was a pretty bad time to catch an offside penalty. Now, it didn't come back to haunt them, but I do believe minor issues today become bigger issues tomorrow. And what about in a playoff game? You're at a 3rd and 5. You're at a 3rd and 6. You need a stop to get your offense back on the field. Maybe you're down. He gets another offside penalty that results in a first down, or you make a 3rd down manageable. So it's those little things that I keep my eye on that I hope it doesn't become a recurrent problem later on in the season as all the games start to matter, as the schedule starts to get a little bit tougher to end the season, as you might be fighting for playoff position, playoff seeding, and you make it to the playoffs, you're trying to advance past the wild card round and the divisional round. So I hope this isn't something that is going to be a recurrent thing, but I did mention it, that he does have a problem with being offsides, and I understand trying to beat the snap count, but a simple way to stop all that is to simply watch the football. So I don't know what's going on. And I've also been covering this the last couple of weeks. Another bad about the game is linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, the Wolf Hunter. Now, he came last season, played an outstanding rookie season, but he doesn't look the same. To me, he doesn't look the same. I think if anybody is honest with themselves, he takes bad angles. He doesn't seem to cover well in space. They call him the Wolf Hunter. He looks like Rocky chasing a chicken. And I'm watching him play, and I'm looking at the missed tackles. I'm looking at the bad angles, and I've been noticing this really since the New Orleans Saints game. He has not played well, or at least not as well as last year. I don't know if it's a sophomore jinx. I don't know if teams are starting to figure him out by getting him out in space. I don't know what it is, but there's something there, and I hope that linebackers coach, defensive coordinators, Chris Richard, Rob Marinelli are actually picking up on this, because he's not playing well. Yeah, he'll get some tackles here and there, but he's not, I don't feel that same force or that same person who was making plays a season ago. So that's kind of concerning going forward, especially at this stage of the season. So I am concerned about that. And your running game allowing 121 yards rushing. Now, we know it was a mixture of both Scarborough and other players, but to allow 121 yards where your star running back is being held on the 50 yards, that's a problem. So defense, I feel they can tighten up a little bit more. The fact that game wasn't really over until the final drive is kind of concerning, going against Jeff Driscoll, a backup quarterback, knowing the very next week you have the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, where you have to go to his house and beat him there in New England. So definitely the defense, if guys are listening on the team, defense is weak. Make sure y'all get a good stretch. Y'all eat a good meal. You do some extra power cleans in the gym. Do some extra sprints. Do some extra game footage. No partying. No having fun. Relax. This is business week because you're traveling to New England, and this is a good test to see where you are to match up with one of the NFL's best. Because as of now, you have not beaten a playoff team in the NFC, and obviously you're going to play a playoff team from the AFC. So let's see what you do. Let's see what you do on the road against the defending Super Bowl champion. So Next week, it should be exciting. I'm interested in seeing what they do. If you see on the screen, your chin check player of the week is wide receiver Myles Garrett. Again, career highs and on the anniversary of his brother's death. But not even so much that and you do have my deepest condolences, Myles Garrett. But just for your play today, 9 catches, 148 yards, and again, some rather acrobatic catches. It was one catch in the second quarter. I really can't explain it, but it was just a great catch. So that's why here's your chin check player of the week. So Dallas Cowboys move up to 6-4. Let's keep the good times rolling. Let's go to New England. Let's make a good statement win. Because again, we're stepping up our level of competition here. Let's go on the road. Let's beat New England. Then you got to turn around next week and play Buffalo for Thanksgiving. So now's the time to try to start getting hot as you make your final playoff push to try to seal the division. So things are looking up for the Cowboys, but at the same time, temper our expectations. Get ready to go to New England and try to beat the defending Super Bowl champions and Bill Belichick in New England. Now, I know everybody talked about the Myles Garrett incident, and as you see on your screen, the picture of Myles Garrett going upside the head of Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph. Now, everybody has voiced their opinion on it, and we're going to voice ours. And when you watch the incident, yes, it was at the end of the game. The Cleveland Browns clearly had the game well in hand. They threw the pass. Myles Garrett tackled the quarterback. Next, you know, they got into a scuffle where Myles Garrett pulls the helmet off of Mason Rudolph. He is entangled with another offensive lineman. So Myles Garrett is entangled with another offensive lineman, and Mason Rudolph gets off the ground and charges at Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett clunks him upside the head with the helmet. And of course, everybody is crying foul and bloody murder. Now, if you look on the internet, if you Google Myles Garrett, the picture on your screen is generally all the pictures that are going to come up. And you have people, other sportscasters on Fox Sports and ESPN coming down on Myles Garrett. This is just disgusting. This is bad. This is this. This is that. There's no fault of Mason Rudolph, and that's a quarterback, and you have to protect your quarterback, and you shouldn't do that to a quarterback, and how dangerous that was, and the man could have been hurt or killed, and I'm going to flat out say it. Some of the coons on ESPN and Fox Sports are actually jumping on the story. Oh, that's just terrible, and Myles Garrett shouldn't have done that. Well, if you look on your screen, this picture here, for some reason that picture is not on the internet, and for some reason I don't know why that is. I just can't put my finger on it. But the picture on your screen now, you see, and the people have stated this, that Mason Rudolph grabbed the helmet first. That Mason Rudolph started the whole altercation. Problem is, he was overpowered by a guy who's built like a Mack truck. And you clearly see trying to aim for the guy's nether region. So the guy pulls the helmet off. Your offensive lineman who was doing their job to protect you as a quarterback, you, Mason Rudolph, you should have walked away. And you decided to come charging at a guy who you just tried to hem his nether region up. You come charging at a guy while he's entangled with another guy. That's 2-on-1. And there's a term for that. They call that self-defense. So Mason Rudolph deserved to get his ass cracked upside the head. That's called self-defense. The guy took it to the ground. You didn't like the way you were hit because you're the quarterback. You grabbed the guy's helmet. You try to injure the guy's nether region. The guy's entangled with the offensive lineman. Here you come charging at him. It's a 2-on-1 incident, and the great equalizer was to back you off. So again, while I had the people making all these grandiose statements and they've never seen that before and the worst on-field incident ever, and people making all these big statements, and again all these coons on ESPN and Fox Sports who have all this stuff to say, yet for some reason they haven't commented on this particular photo. And one sportscaster even said it's the most vile thing I've ever seen on the field. Well, if that's the case, explain Lyle Alzado, the pitch on your screen now. Lyle Alzado was a maniac. May he rest in peace. Passed away, I believe, in 1992. Lyle Alzado was a maniac and the quote, the helmet rule was because of him. And Lyle Alzado was a big star, big action star, and a big movie star. So I like to call the mainstream media their selective outrage, the mainstream media selective amnesia. The mainstream media love to jump on a story and love to villainize people and excuse people's behavior. And that's some of the reasons why we have created Chin Check Radio, is to give the voice to the people who feel they don't have a voice as compared to the mainstream. If you really want to be honest about it, I think Myles Garrett maybe deserves maybe a game or two suspension. I don't think the man should be suspended for the whole season. And I would have lost a lot of respect, even though we don't have a whole lot for him anyway. We would have lost a lot more respect for Mason Rudolph if you would have tried to pursue criminal charges. The fact that that even came up shocked me about trying to pursue criminal charges. So that is our take on the Myles Garrett incident. Yes, the man should face some type of punishment, 1 to 2 games, 4 games the most, but for an indefinite ban, rest of the season, the playoffs, and possibly into next season, for defending himself, that's what he was doing. He was simply defending himself. You took a guy to the ground, the guy started an altercation, you pulled the helmet off, the guy tried to injure you in the nether region, you get up, you're entangled with another guy, the guy comes charging at you, instinct, okay, it's an instinct, you swung at the guy. It looks like a perfect case of self-defense to me, so I don't know what it is. Those are things that we talk about on Chin Check Radio. So until the next time, we're signing off.